You just say, oh, fuck the left for highlighting this and making me mad. It's like, well, you don't seem too mad about the situation. You seem more mad about me telling you what's going on, right? So, yeah, I. This is depraved and obscene even by normal Matt Iglesias standards, simultaneously smug, massively fucking dumb, racist, nibbling, and ass covering. Palestinians are simply incapable of being witness to their own genocide. They're all liars, but an Israeli says it now, so it's time to listen up. I would recommend this from Haviv Retigor and the Free Press to the skeptics. There's been some crying wolf that has unfortunately poisoned the waters to an extent, but the wolves are now, in fact, here. What an insane way to fucking do an about face here, which is not even an about face at all. It's basically saying, like, the only time I'll believe that there is mass starvation happening is if an Israeli says it's happening. If someone who's pro-Israel who is saying that the starvation is real, that's the only time I'll believe it. Yeah.
If they didn't have the hostages, things would go very quickly. But they do, and we know where they have them in some cases, and you don't want to go riding roughshod over that area because that means those hostages will be killed. Now, there are some people that would say, well, that's the price you pay, but we don't like to say that. We don't want to say that. And I don't think the people of Israel want to say that either, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people would say, just get it done and whatever it is. You could also say speed might be better for the hostages. You go through, with speed, you may have a better chance because they're in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble. You saw October 7th, and you saw what the damage and the horror that they committed. People can't forget that. They tend to forget it, but they can't forget. That was one of the most evil things I've ever seen.
Yeah. October 7th, one of the most evil things I've ever seen. 22 months of October 7th, twice a week. Not that evil because the other side is brown and scary. They deserve it. That's it. That's what it is. That's all this is. It's fucking insane.
And you just cannot forget that. So we're very much involved. The Prime Minister's involved. I'm involved. And I think I can speak. We just signed a very big trade deal, the biggest of them all yesterday, right? And the European Union is very much involved in wanting to help with the Palestinians in terms of getting people fed. But the area of Gaza, another way of defining it is the area of Gaza. It's a very troubled place, and it has been for many, many years. It has been for many decades. So it's not like this just happened. This has been going on for a long period of time. So that's it. Our hearts are in the right place. We have some good news because the recent war that you just saw, they just announced, I see, the newest of the 5, now this would be 6 that we've stopped. I've stopped 6 wars in the last, I'm averaging about a war a month, but the last 3 were very close together. India and Pakistan and a lot of them. Congo was just, and Rwanda was just done. But you probably know, I won't go into it very much because I don't know the final numbers yet. I don't know. Numerous people were killed, and I was dealing with 2 countries that we get along with very well, very different countries from certain standpoints. They've been fighting for 500 years, intermittently. And we solved that war. You probably saw it just came out over the wire, so we solved it through trade. I said, I don't want to trade with anybody that's killing each other. So we just got that one solved. And I'm going to call the 2 prime ministers who I got along with very, very well and speak to them right after this meeting and congratulate them. But it was an honor to be in.
I feel like I talk about this so much that it's like a fucking broken record. But it is it's probably not good for overall discourse when you have the president from the bully pulpit consistently lying. Like, even outside of the moral depravity, the moral rot, it's got to be strange. Like, I don't know what it does to our like understanding of the truth in general when the president will just be like, yes, oh, these trade deals are fantastic. Why? Because there's they're giving us $500 quintillion. Okay. Oh, I stopped this war. I stopped that war. This war was going on for 1,000 years and I stopped it. Like, none of the things he's saying are correct. The only things he can like hold up as accomplishments for his administration are just shit that he cooks up seemingly on the spot. Things that he is not necessarily putting a lot of thought into. Very strange behavior, very strange set of circumstances.
Involved, and that was a.
Could you explain why he's wrong? Not a Trump guy, just curious. He did not stop any actual fucking war. Like, that's not real. That's what it is. Like, when he says the Japanese trade deal is fantastic for us, He's saying that he got an IOU from Japan. And when you dive into like the details of the IOU, okay, it's actually not $500 billion. It's just Japanese companies adding investment back into Japanese companies. It's not like they're opening up new facilities or anything like that. Like, he just lies about everything. It's no different than saying, like, I found unicorns. Unicorns are real. I found them, and I'm breeding them. I'm breeding them left and right. You can see them everywhere. Okay. I mean, you can choose to believe it. Or maybe you can, like, look into it, right? You can look into it a little bit further and realize that, oh, he's just talking about horses. Like, those are just horses. And they were there already. There are no unicorns. He did not even, like... He didn't even like slap a fucking cone on the top of the horse's head to make it look like a unicorn. He's just claiming. He's just claiming that there are unicorns now. That's it. Every positive thing that he can hold up that his administration supposedly did is just completely made up. He's just making it up. What does that do to discourse in general? What does that do to our understanding of the truth? Just one of the many different ways in which the administration, I think, is just like destroying everything. Like, I don't know.
It was going to be a very nasty war. Those wars have been very, very nasty. So we've done a lot of good work. We've had great support from the Prime Minister anytime we needed help, anytime we needed any form of support. You've been there. We appreciate it very much. And we're going to continue onward. We do have to take care of the humanitarian needs on what they used to call the Gaza Strip. You don't hear that line too much anymore. You don't hear the Gaza Strip, but it is the Gaza Strip. And it's amazing. It's not being handled a little bit differently. We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We got a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food. And other nations are joining us. I know your nation's joining us, and we have all of the European nations joining us, and others also have called, and they want to be helpful. So we're going to set up food centers and where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and they can't. They see
Oh, no more GHF aid trap. Is that what's going on? I don't think so. By the way, I don't think that that'll happen. For the record, but we'll see. I don't trust anything he's saying. I'm gonna be honest. On the real though, how is fucking Trump? How the fuck is Trump posturing on Gaza better than AOC is? Like, that is unacceptable. I don't think he is. I don't think that's the case. I think your expectation from AOC is understandably much higher than Donald Trump, which is why you're reacting this way. But AOC has said all this stuff. It's not enough.
the food from 30 you would say, yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there. So we're going to work very closely together with your country, a great country. We also discussed inside that we are, there's a whole new thing happening with regard to energy from nuclear. Yeah. And the Prime Minister's looking at that very strongly. And I know you have Rolls-Royce nuclear plants. That sounds pretty good, right? I love that. What a great brand that is. But you're also doing the Rolls-Royce or the nuclear plants, the smaller plants. We're doing smaller and bigger, but the small is interesting. They do a small plant, very easy, very safe, and as they need more, they hook up another plant, and they have a series of plants instead of, doing the $20 billion plant. That gets tough for a lot of people to do. So we're just studying that. It sounds like you're very far progressed, but that's a great thing you're doing on nuclear. We opened up nuclear about 2 months ago, and it's now safe and very inexpensive.
No, we see civil nuclear as a big part of the future as we go to sustainable, independent energy. And I think that between the two of us, we can work very much more closely on this. And we've agreed that that's our ambition, that's our aspiration. And this is going to be a big part of the future when it comes to energy. And you can see in the last few years, energy has been weaponized. Prices have dictated both families and businesses across the United Kingdom, and therefore taking control of energy is a huge prize. So the more we can work together on this, the better. And small modular reactors are a very big part of the future here, and we've got great companies like Rolls-Royce involved in that. So I'm very much looking forward to working together with you, Mr. President.
We'll do that. We'll do that. We're going up to your oil capital. In a little while, we're going up to Aberdeen. That's called the oil capital of Europe, and that's a great asset that you have up there. Someday, if they ever change their thinking on that, you have a great and valuable asset. There's a lot of valuable resources underground there, but that's a decision for you to make. But it's a very amazing place, and it is considered the oil capital of Europe. So it's another option that you have. So we are doing really well as a country, and I think that the Prime Minister has been so supportive of us and so strong and so respected. And I respect him much more today than I did before because I just met his wife and family. He's got a perfect wife and family, and that's never easy to achieve, right? But
I take no credit for that.
But he's become a friend, and together we got a deal done that has not been able to be done. It was a deal that's very good for both parties.
A really good deal for both of our countries, and very, very well received here in the United Kingdom.
So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any questions?
Mr. President, on Russia, earlier you said that you were going to change the deadline from 50 days.
Yeah.
What is your deadline?
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
Mr. President, you just talked about setting up food centres in conjunction with other organisations.
Right.
You're talking about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation or recognised.
I wish every world leader handled him like Jerome Powell did last week. They can't, because Jerome Powell has a lot more power over the American economy and therefore a lot more power over Donald Trump. other world leaders would also have a lot more power over Donald Trump if they actually coordinated, collaborated, and maybe even hedged their bets against Donald Trump by having more positive relationships with China. But they're too fearful to do that, so they're just continuing along the vassal state mentality. Sorry, Keir didn't quite get that. Your tongue in Trump's ass. What? How does Trumpito sound so low energy? He's just tired like me. He's just tired like your boy. That's what it is.
Aid agencies, how will this work?
Well, it's going to be working with the United States. We'll be helping with the food. You know, we have a lot of access to food. We got a lot of food ourselves, and we're going to bring it over there. We're also going to make sure that they don't have barriers stopping people. You know, you've seen the areas where they actually have food, and the people are screaming for the food, and they're 35, 40 yards away, and they won't let them because they have lines that are set up. And whether they're set up by Hamas or whoever, but they're very strict lines, so we have to get rid of those lines. But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And
yeah, there's real starvation stuff. Yeah, there's like, well, at least he is recognizing that there is real starvation stuff happening in the Gaza Strip. That's crazy. Oh my God. So many sources for discussion and news on Palestine is now blocked in the UK with the Online Safety Act. Yeah, I've heard about this as well. We'll cover that later. The UK is completely out of control. I mean, we're gonna get that. We're getting there as well. So fantastic stuff. It's great. Love living in the Western liberal democracy that is supposed to not allow things like this to happen ever. It's great. Fantastic.
you can't fake that. So we're going to be even more involved. We did some airlifts before, some airdrops, and the people are running for it. And the Prime Minister is going to help us. They're very effective with that. You've done that before, and for many, they've done that for 100 years very well. So it's not very hard to do, actually. Yes.
President, you say you love Scotland. You're the most Scottish president
Yeah,
ever.
sure, you can come in, yeah.
Is there a better deal to be done for Scottish industry than the deal that you've done with the Prime Minister?
The tip of it is coming.
Whiskey, for example.
Well, we have. I have great love for Scotland.
Mike.
You know, my mother loved Scotland, and she loved the Queen. I don't know. I might hurt myself by saying that the monarchists are going to like it. Some other
yeah,
people,
Greg,
but she loved the Queen. Whenever the Queen was on television, she wanted to watch. And she would come back religiously. She'd come back to Scotland once a year with my sister Marianne, primarily, and sometimes my sister Elizabeth also. But they loved this part of the world. And, you know, we're talking about the Isle of Lewis. We're talking about serious Scotland. That's serious Scotland. There was no doubt about it. So, yeah, it gives me a feeling, you know, it's different. You go to another country, you have no relationship to it. You got to like maybe the head of the country or something. But it's different when your mother was born here, Stornoway, right in Stornoway, a beautiful little place.
It's so hard looking at him after that movie, dude.
Because of your love of
Yeah, we watched The Apprentice last night, and it's strange. It's strange seeing Trump in the flesh after seeing, what's his name?
Sebastian Stan, who killed it.
Who played a really convincing young Trump, for sure.
I was very impressed. Him and Jeremy Strong both killed it. But yeah, no, this is like very... I just see Sebastian Stan right now.
Yeah. Freaky.
Scotland. Is there a better...
Oh, B'Tselem finally said Israel's committing a
I
genocide.
saw. The
which
New York
is-
Times did a push alert about it.
Yeah. Well, Yeah. Now that B'Tselem has said it, I'm sure the New York Times will take it more seriously. Probably not.
Trade deal to be done for Scottish businesses.
Well, the New York Times was taking cues from B'Tselem already, so.
Yeah. They definitely were acknowledging that Israel was an apartheid state when B'Tselem was saying it.
Absolutely.
Like, that's why sometimes I obviously am very critical of the idea that like it's only real if like an Israeli says it's real, like that kind of like supremacist attitude that many people demonstrate, like the Matt Iglesias of the world. But there are plenty of people who don't even listen when an American Jew is saying it or when an Israeli is saying it. Like they just don't give a shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a bit about this yesterday, but it's about like who gets to be seen as a person who doesn't, and like Jews who are not necessarily European descended but are coded as such in today's world versus like what was that Matt Forney word, brownoid, Arab and Muslim peoples, like they're questioned, like when a Jewish Israeli says that a bunch of people came into my home and like blew it up and assaulted me and my family or kidnapped me or whatever. Like
look at this guy.
What is this?
Lord FM, how can you call this fashion when you support terrorist groups law? How do you justify calling for violence on Donald Trump? Because you literally call for violence on the Israelis law, calling them inbred.
Maybe you took some memory pills or something.
No, this guy is he has hallucinated a completely alternative reality in his mind.
But
in that reality, I look real bad.
In that reality, yeah, you do. That would be
so funny. You call violence onto Israelis, calling them inbred is so funny.
Or it's a really good tactic to bait you into saying it.
Yeah. It's great. It's because I called the fucking settlers that were breaking aid inbred Kahanis terrorists.
Well, look, man, all I'll say is that I've seen The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, my God.
And I've also been to the West Bank and stayed in settlements and met those people. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah, look, I call Klansmen of every different seasoning and every different background inbred, okay? Listen, if you're chirping about it too much, that's your problem, all right?
Yeah,
equal
opportunity offender, woke Eric Cartman over here.
I do like it, though. They're like, oh, dude, you called Israelis inbred, dude. That's the real violence and not the fucking genocide that Israel is doing.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah, that's fake violence. The real violence is like, what if one of those like Rastafarian looking fucking dudes that definitely haven't taken a shower in 8 months, that's busy throwing Molotov cocktails at like Palestinian villagers, what if they hear you? I don't know, man. Sounds a little xenophobic calling people you disagree with inbred. Yeah.
What is this word, xenophobia? This concept is alien to me.
Wait, the Trump defending Israel defender is going to call you anti-Semitic if you keep doing that accent, Noah.
I'm going to be honest. I come by that impression pretty honestly.
Listen, a Jewish man. We got a Christian here. Okay, we got a Christian defending Israel here. Okay, watch out. Watch out. Okay, he's about to show you what's what.
Yeah. Well, no, that was like Roy Cohn in the movie last night.
Oh, when he was calling.
He used the K word to show his power level to Donald Trump in his basement with all his recordings.
He also was like very homophobic.
But that to me is like you kind of like that's the only way you could get to be who he was.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they would have tolerated him if he were like fucking Randy Rainbow.
Yeah.
Like I think like look, we get it. You fried the Rosenbergs. You're awesome, Roy Cohn. But like you have to like take off the sequin jacket on 60 Minutes, sir.
Yeah. Damn, man, I didn't know hating Hitler was xenophobic besides some disagreements. Yeah, I like that. I do love the perma victimhood narrative though, which is like, excuse me, you can call out Nazi Germany's Holocaust. Just don't say that the overall population that defended it, that had full knowledge over what was going on, are actually pieces of shit for not doing enough to stop it.
Also, hold
because
on.
then that's xenophobic.
I want to drop some knowledge here too. I think that you can use the inbred thing against pretty much anybody who's like arguing about like racial purity and national purity, because fundamentally, right? What do they want? They want you to have sex with a fewer number of people in a less diverse genetic pool. Like,
that's it. That's why it hurts so bad. That's why people get so sad about it. They're like, "How dare you? What about the optics of this?"
Like, I don't know.
Wow,
like,
you're calling all Jews inbred. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm saying if you are advocating for racial purity politics, regardless of whether your background is Jewish or Christian, if you are a supremacist of any sort, like, I'm gonna call you inbred. You know, that's it. But I love the guy who, this is my favorite thing, because like this shows that the environment has shifted so dramatically that people that come in here to try to do fucking fake tone policing have to come at it from this incredibly unsustainable position where they're like, I actually agree that it's a genocide. I just don't think that using this language is helpful in any way.
So there, about 10 years ago, in the ancient before times, probably before a lot of the people watching this were born, there was like a phrase that people like learned about and used and like drove into the ground, but it described a very real phenomenon, which was concern trolling.
Yeah.
And that is like, to me, so present here, because this is concern trolling.
Is so perfectly descriptive.
Listen, you are right in the content of your thing. However, I just don't think that this language is like helpful for your cause. You know, and like, and if you take it as your cause too, then it's like a bit, you know, like earnestly, then I don't think that this would really bother you.
I just don't think spewing hatred towards the entire group of people, which I haven't done, by the way.
That's not the joke, man.
But it's okay. It's okay.
That's not what he's saying. Like,
he needs to believe that. He needs to believe that.
It's not like an entire group of people. It's not like Jews, and frankly, it's not even Israelis writ large. Like we're like talking about we're talking about a like they're a significant group within Israeli society.
Which, for the record, if they said that about all Germans during World War II, no one would bat an eye, regardless.
That's true.
Like, so it doesn't even make sense within their own calculation, right? If you were to say that about all Germans during the Holocaust, no one would bat an eye. If you were to say that about all Turks during the Armenian genocide, no one fucking bat an eye at that. Okay, the difference is you're doing that because you have a hang up. Your hang up obviously is petty and born out of a resentment that someone else gave you. A resentment that you have to fucking actively channel, actively champion, because some other content creator told you that this was a real issue. And that's it. That's what you're doing. That's the saddest part of this, is that, like, I don't even think this is your real opinion. You're just in here trying to fight someone else's battles. It's very sad.